So these are the basic components, should I say, of a puking skeleton. Now, as you can see, I have a full-size skeleton there. Now, I know he doesn't look full-size, but he is actually tied up at the moment, and that's how I bought it. So this is a black one. You can get them in light bone colours. So I intend to paint this, because that won't be seen too much in the dark, or I might just leave it black and see what it looks like. I have an old bin. Now you can pick a bin up in most DIY shops. I got that one for nothing. It does have a crack in the back there, but that's no major issue. So that is just like an old bin. It was free. I got it for nothing. So the skeleton was about £25 here in the UK. I picked that up at a store called Home Bargains. I think you can get them online for around about the same price. I have 2 meters of flexible PVC tube in there and a pond pump, which I picked up off Amazon for around £20 here in the UK, and I think that tubing was less than £10. So it's cost around about £60 to make this. It might not be in your budget to do that, so it's best to try and get some good bargains on materials if you want to build one of these, but it does look quite effective. As you can see here, I have made some orange pumpkins out of spray foam, which I made another video of me doing that in the channel, and I also have this Pierce the Resistance, my big pumpkin man, which I will be doing shortly. I haven't done a video for that because I didn't have the camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort this bin out. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to it. How you design the way you do things is entirely up to you. You don't have to do it my way. You don't necessarily need a bin to do this. You just need something that can contain water, and you can position your skeleton as if it's puking, or you can make some. So for this part, I'm just going to give it a wipe down. Now you can probably see it's already got some sort of colour on it. So I'm just removing a lot of the dust, because what we intend to do is use some spray foam, and very similar to pumpkins, we're going to make some like effects on the side of the bin, which should add to the effect we're looking for. Like I said, you don't have to use a bin for this. You can use any kind of container as long as it will hold water and submerge the pump. Like I said, be creative with this. There are oil drums that you can get from various places, so it might be worth looking online, Facebook groups and things like that, see if there's anybody giving anything away for something like this. So like I say, I'm wiping this down because I want the surface to stick, and once you're done, chuck that away. Just using a pad like that to give it a bit of key, and once we're done, decided I'm going to do the bin handles either side, and get your expanding foam. Now, using expanding foam, always wear some gloves. I use these blue ones, as you can see, but generally speaking they do put gloves inside the lid there for you to use, so don't worry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently press down on the trigger, and don't matter if it comes over the top. I'm going to do a line across the top like this, and bring it down so that it starts to flow over the top. Like that. Now it will only take 5 to 10 minutes for it to cure, and I'm just going to fill this hole in here. Doesn't matter if it sticks to the side. If some falls off, don't worry too much about it. Now this is important. Give it a spray like that. What does that do? The water activates the foam so that it starts curing. Now obviously, because of the angle, we need to bring some down here to make it look as it's like dripping over. So we need to prop the bin up like this. I'm thinking, but the bin's wet, it's not going to stick. Oh, it will stick, trust me. Like I say, it doesn't matter if it just spills out like that. But give it a spray. A lot of people would think, oh well, water's not going to do anything. Well, water does quite a lot with expanding foam. Trust me, I'm a doctor. So basically what we need to leave that is about 10 minutes now, and come back to it 5-10 minutes, and we'll be able to start working it with his hands. So again, the water is very important for that. Like I said, the water activates the foam, so it helps it cure quicker. So we'll come back to this in 10 minutes and we'll crack on with it. So what we've got here is the tube, and I hope this is long enough. It doesn't look long enough, but it is ravelled up, so it should be alright. And what we're going to do is feed this up the skeleton body, and hopefully have enough. Oh, I think there'll be enough there, yeah. So this is very flexible, is this stuff, so this is quite a good thing to have. We need to go up there, and up into his mouth like that. Now this skeleton has lights on it, pre-wired, so let's say you didn't have a bin and you just wanted him lying down like that, when you'd be doing a similar sort of thing here. So what we need to do is get him so that he's basically either kneeling down and leaning into it like that. So we're going to attach his hands there and there, so it looks like he's so we've got the skeleton more or less where I need it. I'm going to basically balance his ribs there and attach his arms here. Now I think, yes, the arms do move, so we could probably do something like that, so his arms are inside, and what I want to do is attach his so that the arm here is attached to the bin. So I'm going to drill a hole here in the side. It's raining a little bit as well, which isn't helping. It's really annoying is England for the weather, but there you go. So use a 4mm bit. What I want to do is go all the way through the bin. That's so it goes through. And again, I'm using these short tie wraps, and I'm just going to thread one through. There we go. And so I want his little bone inside there like that. So I want him to be attached like there, somewhere like there, and something like that. Now he's a little bit loose, so we'll do the same at the other side. Just the arm. So again, he's got his arms inside the bin, and again just drilling a hole roughly where the handle is all the way through. Now I probably could do with some better tie wraps, but I can't find them. I don't know where they are or where they've gone. I had some black ones, but I'll do this again later. Might need to remove it for the purpose of painting, so this is just a mock-up. But you get the idea, don't you, when you're building one. If you do need to take it apart, then at least you're only replacing tie wraps and not the whole structure. So we'll get that wrapped around there like that. And I could do with a third hand here, but we ain't got one, so as you can probably tell, the foam's completely set as well now. It doesn't take long. So we're going to put that there like that. And what you want to do is get him so that he's kneeling. So when this is in your garden, you need to adjust the legs like this, so that he is basically kneeling down. Something like that. And obviously your tube here needs to be so that it's splaying the water back into the bin, because otherwise you'll lose loads of water rapidly. So the tube at the bottom here needs to then go into the bin, so you want to try and position it so it's about halfway up the bin, because you don't want the bin full of water, you just want it about halfway. And you'll also need to be able to get the plug through as well, but you probably have to chop the wire to do this, and again you need to do some insulating. So what we're going to do is I'm going to position him round about there, and we're going to drill a couple of holes through the bin there and there, and this is just to hold him in place. And obviously the tube going up now, you don't want to squash that, so I have a tie wrap there, so we're just going to thread this through. back again. Cause I'm probably going to get some longer ones because it'd be a bit easier, but I won't have any, so just doing what I've got with what I've got here. So basically that'll attach the tube there. Like I say, I'm trying to position him so he's more or less where he should be. So he should be more like that. And these legs, once you're in the ground, you could probably just basically position them where you want to. So I'm going to drill a hole roughly halfway up the bin, and like that. You don't need to put the plug through, just to mention, this is just for the pipe. You could put the pipe on the inside of the bin, I suppose, as well. I'll get this right in a bit. So that's what's called a step drill. Right, so once you get that to the right size for your pipe, just like so, and then do it at the other side. So it evens up the hole, and then all you need to do is thread your pipe through, like so. Very simple. Like I say, this is an extremely flexible pipe, so it does tend to kink a lot. But that being said, it makes it a lot easier to thread it through. So you have your submersible pump here, and it'll have rubber suckers on the bottom, but it should be heavy enough for it to sink. So what you can do with this is, instead of putting your wire through the hole, is just to run the wire over the top of the bin. Also, it has a flow rate on this pump here, so you can adjust how fast or that your pump comes through. So basically you just drop that in the centre like that, and again you can tie wrap this down his legs, or just simply run it down the back of the bin there, because this is the bit that nobody's going to see really, and then it can just plug in. Now I would recommend using a waterproof outdoor socket box to do this. Now what we're going to do is going to get this set up and do what we call a dry run to make sure it's working. So we're going to do that in a minute. I need to empty the bin because there's some rubbish inside it. We need to paint the expanding foam as well, because that needs to be painted for the UV light, and I'm going to also highlight the skeleton with some white. You can spray it, brush it on, do what you want, and obviously we need to adjust the tube just to make sure that it's working right. He is quite adjustable, so hopefully when it's set up properly we will have a fully fledged working skeleton man. There you go. So as you can see, it's threaded there, and you have different sized nozzles for it here. So these just screw in. Now they might leak, but I believe that that's the correct one for this. Once it's on, you could possibly use a Jubilee clip, but you can also just use a tie wrap like this. And again, I'm using the same tie wraps, and these will just hold it on in place, ready. It's pretty colourful at least. This is what I mean about being creative. And personally, are you that bothered about the overspray on the bin? I'm personally not. Looks pretty cool, just with a bit of and this was just basically an aerosol that I left over, by the way. I didn't go out and buy it specially. But you can pick up like match pots and things like that with emulsion paints in, but if you are going to use an emulsion based paint, it might be worth sealing it with a sealer after you've done it, just to give it some sort of sealant against the weather, because this is going to be outdoors. But there is your basic foam effect coming over the top, and like I said, you can be creative with it. I've put quite a lot on there. I want it to look more effective than that, so obviously we're getting a bit of the green overspray onto the skeleton man. So as you can tell, I brought it inside simply because it is wet and windy outside, and I don't want to get any damage or it blowing away, because obviously when we get to Halloween and we get everything out, we'll anchor everything down so the wind doesn't blow it away. Plus the bin will be full of water anyway, so that will help secure it down. However, for now, brought it inside. We're going to give it a dry run, or should I say a wet run, to see whether the pump is fine and it's flowing through the tube correctly. And first thing I'm going to do is turn the pump right down so that we're not running at its highest possible setting, and then obviously see whether the water comes through. I also want to test it with my UV light. I do have a smoke machine there, but I don't think it works, so I'm going to try and get that repaired. But I have a UV light down there, and we're going to put this on the UV light, turn all the lights off. Another reason why I brought it inside, obviously it's dark down in this basement area, so I'll be able to test what that looks like in UV light and see when I need to add any more colours to it. So there you can see what I've done is I've adjusted the pipe so it's kind of spraying out of his mouth quite nicely, so you might have to keep doing that and use a few more tie wraps to hold it in place, but you get the idea, don't you? Now if you want to make that fluorescent, you can add what's called a trace dye to it, But I'm going to use some orange paint in this now, some diluted orange paint. I'm going to put that inside. Now you might have to keep topping the water off because there's going to be a bit of spray over the side, especially if the pipe moves. But I'm going to change the colour of the water. Now watch this. So this is just orange emulsion, watered it down. I'm just going to pour it in there now. As you can probably see now, it's changed colour as the water, but that's what you want to happen. So, I mean, it's spraying all the side. I do need to adjust the pipe again. So what we're going to do now is going to turn the light. There you go, UV light. Ready for the moment of truth. There you go. I mean, it's still quite light in here because we have a window, but you get the effect with the UV light. You see how things start glowing because of it. You take it away, the orange paint looks pretty much the same. But once you've got the lights completely down and dark, you get the highlighted finished product. There you can see the orange paint works quite well. That's all we've done, is dyed it down. So guys, that's how you make a puking skeleton, and obviously you can do your own little tweaks to that, whatever you want. Another tip is if you want to slow the rate of water coming through the mouth or anything, is to pinch the pipe, put some clamps on it or something. It will slow the rate down. The pump is running at its slowest rate at the moment, but as you can see, it's pumping it up quite strongly through the mouth. So we just need to make some adjustments to him, and well, I'm assuming it's a him anyway, it might be a woman, but that gives you the general idea of how to make a puking skeleton. Poetic license completely, just use your imagination. Like I say, once you get your UV light shining on the bits and pieces, it starts highlighting things. This guy's still a little bit dark. I have switched the lights that came with him on, so as you can see, it does highlight it a bit more. And like I said, if you shine the light at certain directions, it does highlight him quite well. The bits that are sprayed green change colour, and the bits that are sprayed at the front there also change colour. I mean, the water's a completely different colour, but however, during the day you will just have the green colour coming over the bin, so that should look quite effective during the day as well. So there you go, that's how you make a puking skeleton. Haven't thought of a name for him yet, but you can always suggest some names down in the comment below. If you have any questions about him, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to him as soon as possible. And for that being said, that is your puking skeleton, your basics. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to like, and if you really want, hit the notification button. This is just something I do on the side, making little effects like this. So I do have some other videos where I made some Halloween stuff, so if you want interested in making Halloween stuff or some props or anything, just check them out. So there you go, puking skeleton. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in another video soon.